I'm really glad to be here talking with you about this today because it's been such a central focus of the ministry at First Church in this time, and our participation in VIA has really been through the lens of racial justice and how we can come together around that. First Church, as you know, Ken, like College Street, has participated in a lot of reading groups around different books. And I know that that's taken place all over the state. You know, I know that's happened in Barrie and Montpelier. We've really dug into quite a lot of different books on the topic.
Yeah, there was the grant for even more reading groups from Mojave Zedek and VIA.
Right, with The Hate You Give, right?
Right. Yeah. So there's been a lot of folks trying to learn, which has been cool, but there's also been a lot of folks trying to do.
Yeah.
So some folks taking part in protests from Brattleboro to Burlington. I think pretty amazing, the folks in Barrie getting some political change, some oversight done.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, that's kind of setting the stage for what all of us need to do, leading the way.
Yeah.
And what Mojave Zedek did with the Stopping Stones project, working with so many different, yeah. So there are a lot of folks doing stuff, and I'm excited about what we might be able to do.
Yeah, you know, we are so excited about this too. You know, the idea that First Church and College Street could come together, one in and of itself is exciting, but around this idea of being an LOM, working with the Racial Justice Alliance to think about how we can advance the goals of racial justice in the Burlington area, I think that's going to be a really exciting partnership for us in the weeks ahead. And it kind of also builds, in the years ahead, and it builds on what we were trying to do as a clergy caucus as well, right? So we've been having these gatherings with the clergy caucus and bringing in the Racial Justice Alliance and really exploring what it means to be a partner with them, because they have done so much research on what are the goals, you know, in really advancing the causes of racial justice in the state. And we've been looking at that. And so that's both on the clergy caucus level and on the individual congregation level, we see that really being explored.
Yeah, and I think it was when we were doing the LOM, the local organizing ministry conversations, is when it really hit me how powerful Vermont Interfaith Action is, because we're sitting there reading these books, right? And you want to do.
Yeah.
Like, we need to start this work, and we'll step in the wrong directions all over the place, but you got to start to get anything happening.
Yeah.
But then it's like, how do we start?
Yeah.
And speaking with the Racial Justice Alliance is a key piece of that, and Vermont Interfaith Action had the connections to help us do that. Yep. But also this idea of, we don't have to invent activism.
Right.
You know, we don't have to invent. There is a structure around which different issues and concerns can be placed. And so this is on our hearts, as it should be. And instead of having to spend the years reinventing the structure of how to get people moving ahead on a trajectory, we can actually just go into the VIA process, which I'm really excited about. And it's bringing us together.
Yeah.
And bringing us with community leaders. It's just, there's a lot of hope there.
Right. And you know, one of the things I think that has come out of our work in doing all this reading and some white privilege curriculums is the spirit work too, right? And VIA has that process for us to really start to make some movement in that realm as well. And in looking at the problem of racial injustice and figuring out how we can move on that and use the structures of VIA to do that, there's huge spiritual work in that, right? In figuring out how to actually live into who we want to be. Right. So it integrates those two pieces of the work in really exciting ways.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for having this conversation, and thanks, to VIA for really enabling the work.